G'day sneak peekers, I'm Gabriella Vukman and today we're at South by Southwest checking out the Dutchman. Can you start by telling me if there are any aspects from your life's journey that you had to go back and draw from in order to play the character of Clay?
Not for this role in particular, which is what I actually enjoyed about it because it puts me in a position to have to go find things, Warren is a very different character than myself. I would say the only synergy we may have is, he's a politician. I've worked with and around a lot of politicians, so I kind of drew what I knew of them, but it was more from other sources, not from myself, But we're two different cats, but that's the fun of discovery,
And was there any preparation that went into the role? What did that look like? How did you really find the character and what drives them?
It really just came down to talking to Andre Gaines, the director, and, just trying to figure out what his vision looks like, how I can fit into that, what's important for him in terms of the tone, because my character is really there to supplement a very specific portion of the story for Andre Holland, who plays Clay, right? So how am I there to support his story and push that forward? Those are the things that I was thinking about, the relationship between our characters, how does that look like? We put most focus on building that out, I think.
I felt like I actually sort of had a lot of freedom to create my character because she wasn't locked into a previous story already, and for me it was really important to kind of not just play supportive wife, but also to be a woman with her own flaws and her own kind of search for identity in a similar way that Clay is also searching for his identity, but also within her own sort of life and situation. And so I talked with both Andres a lot about Kaya and who I wanted her to be, and so I guess I usually journal as a character, and I talked with Andre Holland a lot about what our as a married couple, what our relationship would look like and is. So yeah.
And what is something that your character has taught you about yourself, if she has taught you something?
Oh, interesting. I don't know if she's taught me anything, but I think I just really like exploring, the idea of making mistakes as a human, and that doesn't make you a bad person, or, and I think for Kaya, I think she made mistakes, misjudgments, miscommunications with her partner, and I never try to I never villainize my characters, and while I could see from Clay's perspective why she made mistakes, I always like to kind of view within her context and within her point of view. And so I was just re-emphasizing people aren't perfect, neither is Clay, neither is Kaya, and I just liked continuing to explore that.
And you mentioned that you talked to both Andres about what your role would look like.
Yeah.
Did you have much agency over your character and how you formulated it? Can you talk to me a bit about how that worked?
Yeah, she was of course already written into the piece, but I really, I think there was sort of at first sort of this attempt to make her softer, and I wanted to make her a bit harder, a bit angrier actually, because I felt like she was really frustrated with Clay's communication and his reaction to she stepped outside the marriage, and but I for me, as I was saying, I think for Kaya, she had a lot of reasons as to why that happened, and I think with Andre Gaines, I think he was sort of viewing it from a husband perspective, and I was no, from a woman's perspective, I think she is rightful to feel anger, and so we kind of pushed her to be stronger, at risk for her seeming quote unquote bitchy, but I was I think that she's totally valid in her experience, and so I feel like we had a lot of conversations around that. Yeah.
Ich habe gehört, dass sie Deutsch sprechen kann.
Oh wow,
okay.
Ja, ich spreche Deutsch. Bist du Deutsch?
Nicht wirklich, ich habe einen Austausch gemacht, aber ja.
Oh, wo hast du einen Austausch gemacht?
In Süddeutschland, also am Bodensee.
Oh cool.
Ja.
Also Bodensee ist so, ich habe da oft besucht als Kind, also wie schön.
Ja,
magisch.
so total schön.
Ah, well,
Danke. Yeah, danke fürs Is there a particular message that you want to convey through your work in this film?
Not in particular. I long ago have disciplined myself not to lay in expectations with the art, because once we put it out there to the world, it belongs to them. What I've learned to do is sit back and sort of learn how it's received and what affects people, because that teaches me more about the project and the audience, coming to it, than if I was to set a standard for what I hope they get. You know what I mean? I like to just sit back, I'm curious, and I want to see how they take it.
How we see something is entirely different than how I see something entirely different than how she'll see it, or how she'll see it, or how he'll see it. So I don't like to put on people what I want you to take. I'd rather, one, watch it, listen to, watch it, digest it, and then ask them, well, what did you get out of it? It's impossible for me to want people. I just want people to feel something.
And what is something from the film that you are most excited for people to see today?
The performances. Oh, goodness. Those performances. Yeah.
Okay, you have a choice.
I can't wait
Okay.
y'all to see them together.
Yeah, I'm excited for people to discover Amiri Baraka's work. He's written so much incredible material about music, obviously theater, poetry, so much. And so I think that's the thing I'm most excited about.
And how do you think the film embodies that real 90s kind of era and definitely originality?
Well, I think that the play was written at a time, after so much tumult in this country. Malcolm had been assassinated, Martin, there was so much going on at the time that I think it's important to remember that that's what he was writing against, was that sort of, that moment. And I think a part of what the play is saying, it's saying a lot of things, but I think one of the things it's saying is that, people who want to push back against that or create any kind of, revolution, that can't be done alone, that we have to be in community with each other. And so I think, I hope people get that part of the film too. That's something that was important to us to lay in. So hopefully that comes through.
Are there any parts of your life's journey that you've extrapolated and that have helped you in your work on this film?
Yeah, always. I feel like everything I do, there's always a bit of me in it. And this is no different. When I first started drama school, this is one of the first plays that I got handed to work on. Yeah, when I was 18 years old, somebody handed me the play and said, well, we want to see you do a scene from this. And I had no idea what it was. It's been in my life for a very long time. And so I'm really excited to see it in this format.
Thank you so much for your time today. I really appreciate the interview. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe and watch this video here.